On September 15, 2025, President Donald Trump made a stunning announcement that reverberated across the globe, catching both allies and adversaries off guard. He revealed that he had ordered the repositioning of U.S. nuclear submarines, a move that immediately sent shockwaves through the international community and left military analysts scrambling for answers. The world was instantly on edge. In cities from London to Tokyo, people gathered around screens, their faces tense with uncertainty, as the news spread like wildfire. Was this the start of a new Cold War, or a calculated show of strength designed to deter aggression? The echoes of past superpower standoffs seemed to fill the air. The U.S. Navy's Ohio-class submarines are the only ones carrying nuclear weapons, but experts quickly noted that the vessels moved were likely attack submarines, formidable in their own right, but not armed with nuclear warheads. Their presence alone, however, was enough to send a powerful message. This was a political signal, not a direct nuclear threat. The administration wanted to show resolve without escalating to the brink of war. By publicizing the movement of these submarines, normally a closely guarded secret, Trump was sending a message to Russia and to the world that the United States was prepared to defend its interests. The move was a direct response to provocative statements from a former Russian president who had recently boasted about his country's nuclear capabilities and issued thinly veiled threats. Instead of escalating to DEFCON or raising the nuclear alert level, the U.S. chose a measured show of force, one that was visible, deliberate, and carefully calibrated to avoid direct confrontation. The world's attention was fixed on Washington and Moscow as analysts debated the risks and speculated about the next moves in this high-stakes geopolitical chess game. The announcement was unconventional, using military assets as tools of public diplomacy and breaking with decades of tradition that kept such maneuvers secret. The intent was clear: to demonstrate American resolve and unity, to reassure allies and to warn adversaries, all without crossing the line into open confrontation or sparking a crisis. The balance of nuclear power didn't change, but the tension was unmistakable. Every move was scrutinized, every word analyzed for hidden meaning. The move was less about immediate military readiness and more about psychological warfare, testing nerves, shaping perceptions, and influencing decisions in capitals around the world. It was a reminder that military posturing remains a powerful tool in international diplomacy, capable of shifting alliances and altering the course of events without a single shot being fired. The world hoped for de-escalation, but the message was clear. America was watching, vigilant, and ready to act if necessary. The stakes had been raised, and everyone knew it. The incident underscored how quickly rhetoric can turn into real-world tension, and how fragile the peace between great powers can be in an age of instant communication. In this new era, even a single announcement can shift the global chessboard, reminding us all that the line between words and action is thinner than ever before. Moscow's response to Trump's submarine maneuver was silence. The provocation had come from former President Dmitry Medvedev, who referenced Soviet-era nuclear systems online. Russian state media downplayed Trump's move, calling it theatrical and inconsequential. No official statement came from the Kremlin or the Ministry of Defense. Medvedev's threats were dismissed as personal bluster, not state policy. By refusing to engage, Russia signaled it didn't see Trump's action as a real escalation. Medvedev, once seen as a moderate, had become a provocateur, his online threats largely ignored internationally. Trump's public reaction was a mix of genuine emotion and calculated unpredictability. His forceful response aimed to keep adversaries off balance, a hallmark of his diplomatic style. The silence from Moscow set the stage for tense, unpredictable negotiations ahead. The Trump-Medvedev exchange was a striking example of how quickly online feuds can spiral out of control and escalate into real-world military action. What began as a war of words on social media soon took on a life of its own, with each tweet and post adding fuel to the fire. What started as a heated social media spat between two powerful leaders led directly to the repositioning of U.S. submarines, a move that sent shockwaves through military and diplomatic circles alike. The world watched as digital rhetoric translated into tangible military maneuvers. This incident revealed the very real dangers of digital-age diplomacy, where a single tweet or online statement can trigger global consequences in a matter of minutes. The speed at which information spreads online means that leaders must be more cautious than ever. Trump's unpredictable response was likely a calculated strategic move, designed to unsettle Russia and keep them off balance before key negotiations. By introducing uncertainty, he aimed to gain the upper hand at the bargaining table. The tactic here was clear: use disruption and surprise as tools to gain leverage, forcing the opposition to react rather than dictate the pace of talks. This approach can be risky, but it can also yield significant advantages if executed well. The episode serves as a stark warning: misunderstandings and provocations online can spiral into full-blown international incidents within hours, leaving little time for careful diplomacy or de-escalation. Modern diplomacy is more fragile than ever. Public statements, especially those made online, now carry immense weight and can shape the course of global events almost instantly. The line between digital posturing and actual military action is now dangerously thin, with the potential for miscalculation or misunderstanding always looming in the background. Leaders must communicate with extreme care and precision, as the stakes are higher than ever before, and a single misstep can have far-reaching consequences. In today's interconnected world, the front lines of conflict are as much online as they are on the battlefield. The digital realm has become a new arena for power struggles, making vigilance and responsibility essential for all. Tensions soared when President Trump issued a 60-day ultimatum to Iran: dismantle your nuclear program or face U.S. military force. The deadline was clear, the threat credible, and military preparations began immediately. This marked a dramatic shift to confrontation, putting the world on alert for possible conflict in the Middle East. The goal: forced Iran to reconsider its nuclear ambitions through overwhelming pressure. The U.S. made it clear: this was no bluff. Allies and adversaries scrambled to respond as the 60-day clock ticked. The ultimatum embodied Trump's doctrine: direct threats, public pressure, and strict deadlines. The risk of war was real, but so was the hope for diplomacy. The world watched, waiting for Iran's next move. Major General Jason Armagost revealed that, following President Trump's high-stakes ultimatum to Iran, U.S. bomber crews sprang into action, launching immediate and detailed planning for a possible strike on Iranian soil. The tension in the air was unmistakable as the gravity of the situation set in. This was no ordinary drill. 14 of the Air Force's most elite pilots were selected and began preparing to fly the legendary B-2 Spirit stealth bombers on a real, potentially history-altering mission. Each pilot knew the risks and the responsibility they carried. Their target was clear: Iran's most heavily fortified nuclear sites, protected deep underground. The plan called for the use of massive GBU-57 bunker-buster bombs, designed to penetrate and destroy even the most secure facilities. The operation demanded meticulous coordination, long-range flights across continents, complex mid-air refueling in total darkness, and absolute secrecy at every stage. Every move was calculated to minimize risk and maximize surprise. The seriousness of the mission was unmistakable. The president's threat was not just words but was backed by real, lethal capability, ready to be unleashed at a moment's notice. The Air Force's legendary readiness and precision were on full display, as every system and crew member was tested to the limit. Every detail was scrutinized and planned for, from unpredictable weather patterns to the latest enemy air defense intelligence. Nothing was left to chance. The fate of the region, and perhaps the world, rested on these pilots' skill, nerves, and relentless preparation. Each step was taken with the utmost seriousness. The world saw only the public ultimatum and the headlines, but behind the scenes, the sword was quietly drawn, and the machinery of war was set in motion. Diplomacy now had a deadline, and if talks failed, the military was fully prepared to act, with the B-2 Ghost pilots ready to make history. Operation Swift Retribution was executed with flawless precision. B-2 bombers struck deep into Iran, destroying nuclear facilities under the cover of darkness. 30 hours later, a ceasefire was reached, proof of the mission's stunning effectiveness. The operation showcased America's unmatched ability to project power globally. The quick resolution prevented a wider, bloodier conflict. The strike sent a clear message: American air power can reach any target, anytime. The mission reaffirmed the strategic value of long-range bombers in global security. The world was left to process the speed and decisiveness of the American response. For Iran and others, the lesson was clear: there are no safe havens. The region's reality had changed. U.S. military action was now a swift, present danger. The strike on Iran's nuclear sites instantly reshaped the Middle East's security landscape. The US re-established credible deterrence, showing it would back up threats with force. Major General Armagost compared the mission's impact to historic turning points in military history. The operation forced nations to rethink their strategies and alliances. For Iran, it was a devastating setback. For US allies, a reassurance of American commitment. The mission highlighted the power of advanced air capabilities in enforcing global norms. A single, precise strike achieved what years of diplomacy could not. The world entered a new era, where swift, decisive action is once again central to American foreign policy.